Welcome to Leader's Edge kvCore Spring Fling. This is our fourth of 4 sessions. Today we're going to tackle how to stay organized with our kvCore platform. We are wrapping up today a 4-week session of our kvCore Spring Fling. So for anyone who has been following along with all of our kvCore videos in our Leader's Edge YouTube channel, we did a boot camp, a 6-week boot camp in the fall, where we literally break down all the various components of kvCore to help you get set up and working on this incredible platform. What we've done now with our Spring Fling is really try to concentrate on some very specific components of kvCore to help you really concentrate on utilization. So once you get through that massive undertaking, it feels like, right, of setting up your kvCore, what does it mean to actually leverage this program on an ongoing basis? So many people kind of stop after the setup and don't really dig in and utilize it. It's important to understand that when you're building your business and then looking to maintain a pipeline, looking to stay in front of your clients, you're already paying for kvCore. I can't emphasize that enough. This $85 monthly fee that you're paying to EXP gives you so much access, so much functionality, so that you don't have to worry about having a massive budget for lead generation. You start here. If you don't have money to spend on postcards or on Zillow, or you're not ready for, say, making it rain with EXP's lead generation program, there's still so much you can do here for free or for minimal, $20, $30, or $50 a month investment. So what we're going to do today is really concentrate, like, there you are in the moment, you've gone ahead and you've got it set up. Now, how do you go about making this platform work for you on an ongoing basis? And we're going to concentrate on 4 areas: information, utilization, cultivation, and then, of course, the daily nurture. There are certain things that you can put on autopilot with your kvCore, but ultimately, at the end of the day, this platform does require you. It requires your attention, it requires your love, and it requires your effort to make personal connection with the people that are funneling into your kvCore, either because they're part of your sphere or perhaps a lead coming in from either your website or one of those lead gen sources that we've talked about in some of our other trainings. So let's take a look what I've gone ahead and done. As I mentioned at the very start, I was just telling Anixa, anybody who knows me knows that I am a checklist person. Mainly because I find that when I have a checklist, when I have a to-do list, it accomplishes 2 very important goals for me and for the way I function. First, keeps me on track, gives me focus for the day so that I don't get sidetracked with things that aren't on that list to the extent that I can help that. The other thing that it does is I like the feeling of accomplishment when I can cross something off of the list so that I know that the goals that I set out to achieve on any given day, I reached. So what I've gone ahead and done is, based on all that I've done to build my kvCore and now manage it, I've come up with a monthly PDF that I encourage you. I'll make it available in the chat at the end of our talk today. And also, if anybody wants to follow up and email me, they can request it. This is just one example, one recommendation, something that you print out, keep on your desk once a month, and just work through. Okay, and it's going to cover those exact 4 areas that we just talked about: information, utilization, cultivation, and then the nurture. Here you go, the daily calls. So you'll notice what I've done is I've got 21 days. So I kind of cut people a break. I don't expect people to be working in their kvCore 30 or 31 days out of the month. But ultimately, you should be trying 5 days a week to have some sort of personal connection, either phone, text, or email. Ultimately, I think this column on the right-hand side should be all about the phone call, okay, where you can try to engage someone in conversation and connection that goes beyond most of the technology that we can sort of get caught up in, right? This, in the calls, is where I think you ultimately will find your greatest conversion opportunity and potential for long-term, top-of-mind relationship. Okay, so let's just go through this checklist. Again, we've had plenty of trainings, and those are all available to you on how to get to the point where you're ready to do all these things. My goal today is just to say, here's your best practices. Here's how you're going to work this on a day-to-day basis. The best analogy that I can give is you think of a hoarder. A hoarder gets to that point because they're not putting in that daily effort to either take out the trash or wash the dishes or just deal with life's clutter. kvCore can quickly put you into the mindset of a hoarder if you aren't investing the time on a day-to-day basis. Pretty soon it becomes unappealing, unenjoyable, and it feels more and more like a very heavy chore. But just that daily little bit of attention, it's going to continue to nurture and grow and produce results for you. Okay, so the recommendation we're looking at, and I encourage you to think about this, is 30 minutes a day. So this is what we're going to talk about. Let's take a look at information. Okay, what do I mean by information? I've got my kvCore website here, and you'll notice I do have photos. My background images are personalized, and I have a few in my photo deck. So anytime somebody goes to visit my website, hi Sarah, anytime somebody goes to visit my website, they're going to see a different image. And I do like to change this seasonally. So one of the items that I have on my to-do list is to make sure that I'm looking at these images once a month and making any change if I want to. I don't want this to be burdensome. So maybe like once a quarter, might change something to either the spring, the summer, maybe a holiday image around Thanksgiving and Christmas for me, whatever is personal or meaningful to you. But the important thing is that you're checking it and you're checking the box to say, I'm content with my background content. Okay. Other things that we want to look at on our website. So if you scroll down and you're looking at my website, you'll notice that I have testimonials. Once a month on the checklist, I have to review and hopefully add content here to testimonials. You want to make sure that you continue to provide your clients' feedback to potential clients coming to learn more about you, who you are, how you work, and the services that you're offering. The other thing, and I'm going to be the perfect example of why this checklist is so important to me, at the bottom of my homepage, you'll notice I have my biography, which most times those details won't change about yourself, right? But I also have a blog post. So here my checklist is going to absolutely come in handy for me to make sure that I'm adding at least one, potentially 2 new blog posts every month. And that is going to reflect about who you are and the website that you're building. You may want your blog posts to be all about real estate. You may want them to be not at all about real estate. You may want to provide recipes. You might want to provide home improvement suggestions. You might even want those blog posts to be written by vendors that you work with. Do a lender 1 month, an appraiser 1 month, an inspector 1 month, where they can give their best advice to homeowners in the market. Okay, you're giving exposure to the vendor that you work with, and at the same time, you're keeping the content on your website current. Okay, so again, looking at this information, what have we talked about? Checking our background images once a month, 1 box. Your testimonials, check it 1 time a month. 2 blogs a month, if you can. If you only want to do 1, then just check it off once. The other things that we want to look at on our website, take a look at the content that you have here. So if you're doing any type of special content pages, if you followed along on my trainings, you know that I like to highlight everything about Burlington County. That's where I sort of concentrate on my business. So in one of my trainings, I showed you how to add on these additional content pages where each link here will take me directly to the website for that particular Burlington County town. There might be things that I want to update here. Maybe once a month I take a look and test 2 or 3 of these towns to make sure that the websites are still accurate, to make sure that they haven't been updated by the township. These are things that it's a little bit of time and effort. And I'm not saying if I had 30 towns here, I wouldn't say you have to go through all 30 towns every month. But you and I both know when you're searching for something on the internet and you click on something and you don't get the expected result, it automatically diminishes your assumed credibility of whatever site you're visiting. Okay, so it's important that whatever functionality you're building here works and gives you the desired result. If it gives you the desired result, you'll be able to see that duplicate for your clients and your visitors. The other thing that you want to do on a monthly basis, at least once a month, I encourage more if you're working with a lender that you have engaged and sharing in lead information. And that's to talk with your lending professional, whatever mortgage lender that you are highlighting on your kvCore site. You should be speaking with that lender at least once or twice a month to make sure that you're on the same page, to make sure that you're both working leads, to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to leverage the services of the mortgage lender and vice versa. Okay, utilize them because they're getting this exposure on your website for free. Okay, so make sure that you're keeping in touch with them and getting the full value of their service, support, and expertise. So see, I went back to my home page and my background image has just refreshed. So I like doing that. Again, it just sort of adds a level of freshness and function to my website. The other thing that I always encourage you to do once a month is just go to this search feature on your website and make sure that it works. Make sure that the properties that are pulling in are indeed local to your MLS. And make sure if you were to run a search here on your website, that the results that you get match the criteria that you entered. Okay. The reason that I say that is because every once in a while, I have seen kvCore get a little bit wonky with MLS feeds. This could actually grow as you add more MLSs. You can now add more than one MLS into your kvCore website. So that's why I say test it, make sure that it's working, because if it's working for you, you can have confidence that it's going to work for your site visitors. Okay. So these are the things, if we go back to my checklist, these are all the things on the website. So that's pretty manageable, right? But these are all value added exercises that if you take the 30 seconds on a couple of things, 10 minutes on a couple of things to get this done, it keeps your website current, keeps it fresh, and makes sure that it's functional. The other things that you want to take a look at from an information standpoint is making sure that you are monitoring your database. Okay, and there are three main components, and you'll notice here that depending on which of these three I'm talking about, some things you only have to do once or twice a month. Something here, one of the more important ones, I believe, are reviewing your client journey. I encourage you to do this every week. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at our database. Let me head over to my kvCore. So first, when I'm talking about adding new contacts, I've put this down twice. So twice a month, I encourage you to go through and do two things. Upload any new contacts. So anybody new that you've started talking to. If you went to a networking luncheon, if somebody new joined your office, if you held an open house and you collected buyer data, you can gather all of that information in a spreadsheet form. You can use the template that's pre-formatted to kvCore. So just keep that template on your laptop, desktop, right? Update it periodically, and then twice a month, upload those new contacts into your kvCore. This is designed, and my recommendation is set this way because if you stopped what you were doing to input a new contact every time you had a new contact, that's where it starts to get cumbersome and you start to get, you don't enjoy that task. But if you're just sort of sticking that information quickly into a spreadsheet and then going through the exercise of an upload once or twice a month, it suddenly makes that task much easier, and it gets those clients, those leads, those sphere members into your kvCore. Once they're,
I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Not at all.
Thank you. I have a question. How do I upload my phone contacts into kvCore?
So what you would want to do, we would want to find a way to export your phone contacts. I think the easiest way would be to export them into the spreadsheet format.
Okay.
But let me see, I'm going to find out. So you want to be able to take your phone contacts and put them directly into kvCore.
Yes, please. I'm going to write it down.
I'm writing it down too.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
I'll research that and make sure that we come back with a couple of different recommendations, because I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that there are multiple ways to do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, of course. So again, you want to make sure that you're getting the information in kvCore. That's important. The other thing that you want to make sure of is once you have a client entered into your kvCore, you want to monitor this journey. This is what's important that you're updating on a weekly basis. If you have 1,000 contacts in your kvCore, I am not telling you to go through all 1,000 contacts every week. That's impractical and it's unreasonable. But you know your business. You know who you've been working with, and you know how your relationship changes and evolves. So if somebody has come in as a prospect and suddenly maybe you saw them at an event or at a networking function and they were asking questions about real estate, and you might want to start engaging them a little bit more, update their journey, change their status, and get them on a campaign. Maybe get them on a property alert. Okay, and I'll show you that in just a minute, how that works. By the same token, if you have an active lead where you've been putting them on regular property alerts and now they've gone under contract for a property, update them to client or contract so that they aren't receiving those weekly updates of new properties. Now they're super hyper focused on the property that they're under contract for, and your goal is to help them get to that finish line. Okay, so based on however your business continues to evolve and develop with different clients, you should be updating this journey once a week. So take that 30 minutes a day, once a week, and say, I'm going to devote today's 30 minutes, or at least 15 of it, to going in and updating my clients. Okay. The other thing that you want to devote a little bit of time to, and I say give it some thought once a month, is think about your hashtag structure. So you know that you can identify clients as buyers, sellers, renters, vendors, or real estate agents. But you also have the ability to build out your hashtags to add a whole other level of categorization and customization to your kvCore. You can create birthday hashtags. You can create categories of, let's say that you closed on a client in the last year. So maybe it's a closed client, closed 2021, closed 2022, closed 2019. And what can be valuable there is that you can go back, let's say that you create a New Year's message to all of your clients, and you can customize that message and tweak it ever so slightly for each of those categories. So let's say I had somebody that bought in 2018. So in 2023, they'll be on the cusp of their 5-year anniversary in that home. So when I maybe send out that New Year's message, I might mention in the email message how fantastic that one of the things that you will likely celebrate this year is your 5-year anniversary in your home. I'm so pleased, wishing you continued success. And hey, if you ever need my support, you know that I'm here for you. Just that slight piece of custom information, that 5-year mention in the email, adds a whole additional level of personal touch to that message that makes it less broadcast and more personal. Okay, so just again, ideas that when you think of hashtag and how categorizing your clients can serve you, that's where you want to invest a little bit of time on a monthly basis as well. How you can continue to build and evolve and update your hashtags. So that's included here as well. The other thing which I think is really important, and I only have one box here, but if we could, I would put 4 boxes. But I know that there's so much education content available. There are so many masterminds that I really want this checklist, both for me and for you, to be practical. So if you can commit to one exercise a month, so whether that's 1 hour, 1/2 hour, maybe you search on YouTube to learn a very specific function. Maybe you head over to our YouTube channel to find data on a very specific function that you want to learn about kvCore. But the idea is that if you just invest a little bit of time in education, you will continue to become a bigger and better expert on this platform. It's super important that you leverage CRM in your business, partly because of the automation, partly because of the organization, and partly because as you continue to leverage it as a tool, telling you how you should be spending your day and nurturing client relationships, it's going to feed your pipeline. Okay? So information, a place where you're going to check the boxes, make sure that you're getting these things addressed and reviewed on a monthly basis. So let's take a look at the other two sections on this left-hand side where I said you should really be concentrating your efforts once you get through that setup process. Utilization. Hi, sure, yes. Hi, Rob.
Hi, quick question for you.
Sure.
Back to the question about importing phone contacts. My group, our group here, are part of the Zillow Premier Agent Program, and we have tons of data in the Premier Agent database. Is that importable into kvCore? Because it's not just phone numbers; it's notes, it's stages of transactions, and activity and that type of stuff.
Yep. So as far as I know, Rob, there's no direct way for Zillow or Zillow Premier to be able to speak to your kvCore. But I am going to follow up just like I am for Sarah. I'm going to follow up and get some information on an easy and efficient way where you can potentially download that information and then put it into a CSV and then upload it into your kvCore.
Yeah, because that would be really valuable, because otherwise you'd be, managing, two apps and two sets of the same data for the phone.
Ideally, there may even, I will take it one step further. I don't think there's a way where Zillow will directly feed into kvCore, but there could be an integration available. So let's say, for example, a lot of our team members and the teams that we work with use dotloop. And dotloop may not speak directly with, I don't know, there's a new form program that we're using called JotForm. They don't speak directly to one another, but I can go out and purchase a third-party app like Zapier. Right. Zapier kind of comes in and serves as the bridge. So even though I don't think there's a way where Zillow will directly speak to kvCore, I'll find out first how to do that download and upload, and second, find out if there are any sort of bridges like Zapier that can help automate that for you.
Okay, I'll check on the Zillow end on my side as well. See if we know of anything.
Okay, terrific. I'll certainly circle back with you as soon as I have some
information.
information.
I have a strong technology background, so I can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, there are definitely what I'm learning more and more is that if you can find the right automation tool to insert in the center, right. It is getting easier and easier in our environment today to be able to get one platform to talk to another. Right. So there's got to be solutions out there. So I will circle back with you. Thank you for that question.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's get into utilization. Again, I'm not going to spend time teaching or educating you on what each of these things mean. But the reason that they're here on my checklist is because I want them top of mind for me to remind myself that they're available and that I should be, where it's smart and makes sense, leveraging these tools in my kvCore and in my business. So one of the things that I've talked about is getting your own personal smart number. I encourage that for anybody who's going to be using text messaging with your clients. If you actively like to be able to go into your kvCore and exchange in text conversation, and I do find that a lot of my leads are very engaged with text message, much more so than with email when I put them on a campaign. If they start a search, I would say probably 50% of the time I'm seeing leads responding to my text messages saying, thanks for checking out my site, and do you have any questions? Can I help you in your search? Okay. What a smart number will do is it is identifiable just to you, but it's not your personal cell phone number. And it's not the shared number that's assigned to all New Jersey agents with EXP. Okay. So there's one number that's automatically assigned when you set up your account, but you can pursue a smart number that's all your own. And the way that you would do that is you want to go to your EXP dashboard, and you want to go to the marketplace. It's something that's very easy to do. There is a cost associated with it. I think it's $25 or $27 a month. But again, it's personal to you, so that all of your lead capture, all of your text conversation is all going to be just for you and your kvCore account. Okay, so that's, again, something that I want to remind myself is available and that I should be using. There are 2 mobile apps. You can access kvCore on your phone, and I encourage you to do that. If you're the type of person that, maybe you have kids in sports. So maybe when I tell you, take your half hour every week and look at your clients and update their status. Maybe they're maybe they just converted to a client, right? From looking for a property. Now they're going under contract. If you're sitting there at a sports practice, what better time to make use of your time than to go on your mobile app and update your clients, right? So you don't just have to be sitting in front of your computer to make kvCore work for you. So download the mobile app. The other thing is there's actually, and I don't know that a lot of people leverage this, a kvCore open house app, where if you have a tablet, an iPad, or you want to use your laptop, you can register visitors to your open house right on the kvCore open house app. And when they register on the open house app, they will automatically be fed into your kvCore. Okay. Core Present is another component of kvCore that very few people either know about or utilize. Core Present is your CMA, your comparative market analysis, on steroids. It's going to take your CMA to a whole other level. It's going to be interactive. It's going to give your users and your viewers the ability to click and zone in, zone out, and even modify some of the results of the CMA to sort of hone in and give you analytics and feedback on what components of the analysis interest them, appeal to them, or maybe intrigue them. The other thing that you can do with Core Present is you can take that really cool, technologically savvy CMA and you can embed it into a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, all within kvCore. So we have training on this. It's just important, remind yourself, am I using all of this muscle? Landing pages and squeeze pages are a great component of kvCore that, again, are free. Squeeze pages give you the ability to take any EXP listing in New Jersey and publish a squeeze page on your social media about that listing. Okay, it doesn't have to be your listing. It's just got to be your brokerage's listing in the state where you're licensed. Now, having said that, I always encourage people, if you're going to use squeeze pages, you should talk to the agent whose property you're going to be squeezing, whose listing you're going to be boosting, and say, hey, is this good with you? I'm giving your property exposure and I'm trying to pull in some buyers for myself at the same time. That's a win-win, okay? But you're, again, the underlying theme here is we are fostering relationships. So you want to stay on good terms with the agent. So giving them the heads up is courtesy, right? Another thing that you can do, which I alluded to a minute ago, are you a part of multiple MLSs in the state of New Jersey? Because if you are, you have the ability to now, and this is pretty new, you have the ability to now pull those multiple MLSs into your one kvCore website. Previous to the fall of 2021, you couldn't do that. If you had, say you were in Monmouth Ocean and you were in Bright, you actually had to have 2 separate websites and you had to pay for that second website in order to be able to attract your Nexus, your Burlington Ocean clients, and then attract your Monmouth Ocean clients. Now you can have them all pull into one place. There's a form that you fill out to request that, and there's a small fee associated with it. But again, you're only going to have to manage one site and have everything under one roof, okay? The other components here on the right-hand side are all add-ons that you can utilize in your kvCore account that do come with a price tag. There are training sessions that will outline these in a lot of detail. Making It Rain has 2 components. You can pay to generate buyer leads through Making It Rain. That would be through Google Ads, and those leads will come directly into your kvCore. You can set them up to automatically go on a campaign as soon as they come in and they'll come in as a hashtag EXP leads client. So you can set them up to automatically get on a campaign. I am on Making It Rain. And so my campaign, for example, there are two things that happen in the first 10 minutes. They receive an email message thanking them for visiting the site, and they receive a text message saying, I see that you were looking for some properties. Can I help you, guide you in your search? Okay. And again, I'm getting a lot of engagement on that text message. So this is something that you would pay for. Urge you to go to the YouTube channel if you want to learn more about it. The other thing that you can do with Making It Rain for $1 investment is you can look to generate listings, sellers through express offers. You have to be express offers certified. Again, all that information is there in the YouTube trainings. But this is all Facebook rooted. So where the buyer leads are Google Ads, the express offers Making It Rain is all rooted in Facebook advertising. There's also Nosy Neighbor, which is going to be a little bit even more of a hefty price tag, but it's going to be a more complex combination of events and exercises to identify a listing, identify it going under contract, and then send out both email messages and physical postcard prints to the neighbors in the community saying, hey, did you see that this listing just sold for, X number of dollars? Do you have an interest in selling your property? Okay. This is a very specific, very targeted campaign. And it's, like I said, multifaceted. So it will come with a higher price tag.
Can the listing be somebody else's from my office?
With Nosy Neighbor. So what Nosy Neighbor will do is it will take any listing that's sold and in whatever property or zip code that you're working in. So you have to specify what zip code you want to work. And this is all through EXP and kvCore. So what that combination, what kvCore and EXP will do is make sure that that zip code is not flooded with agents. They only allow 1 or 2 agents in that zip code. So anytime something closes, they're going to be able to generate sort of buzz and information through online social media posts and through this print postcard program to try and get exactly what it sounds like, neighbors who are nosy to find out what a property sold for and to hopefully direct them to you if they have interest in finding out what they might be able to sell their home for. Okay, so you're leveraging just solds that may or may not have been yours, may or may not have been your team's, okay, to be able to generate those potential seller leads. As long as it's, and the really best thing about it is that it's all going to be compliant, right? So that where it needs to be disclosed that this may not have been personally sold by you, they'll take care of all of that. You just have to make the dollar investment. Okay.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You can do Facebook advertising through kvCore, again with a price tag, but you can also, if you were interested, go directly to Facebook. It doesn't have to be through kvCore. I personally like going directly to Facebook and managing my ad campaigns there. The other two things that you can look into are Core Property Boost and Core Social. Property Boost, just as a reminder, is something that I think is maybe $60 for every campaign that you run. And you can set the time frame for the campaign. It can go anywhere from, I think, 1 week or 2 weeks up to 4 or 5 weeks. This is going to be a property that you specifically list. And what it's designed to do is create social media boosting where you can get feedback and data on the property and help give information to your sellers about feedback that you're getting on price, on the property, or just in general, what the opinion of the marketplace seems to be. Property Boost probably doesn't have a strong presence in the market that we're in because people don't have pickiness as a luxury right now. If you're a buyer, you have a very small level of inventory to choose from, and you're willing to concede a lot of your want-to-haves, need-to-haves in order just to be able to go under contract for a property. But in a typical more normalized market, this is a great, reasonably priced tool that, again, especially if you have a seller who's way overpriced and you're struggling to sort of bring them more into the range of reality with what would be an appropriate price on that property. Property Boost for $60 can put your property out there on social media and give you tangible feedback that you can put in front of your seller and say, here, this is what the market is saying. So again, using the muscle of kvCore. And Core Social, that's another add-on that if you are not a fan of social media, if you don't like going on and posting content on your social media pages, maybe you just find that you don't have time, whatever the reason might be, there's a solution for that. kvCore has Core Social, where you can add on the ability to select from certain content. There's at least a dozen different categories, and you can choose multiple categories and say, I like content in these areas. Maybe you want to concentrate on home design, real estate, market updates, or maybe you want to stay away from, maybe you prefer that your social media footprint is more sort of just skirts the edges of real estate and concentrates on a softer approach. You can choose what topics or what content you like, and then let kvCore, put that on autopilot for you so that you're getting regular posts out to your social media platforms. Now, the one thing about Core Social is that I'm pretty sure that is not Instagram, where a lot of people like to do their posting. Core Social is going to be Facebook, Twitter, and I believe LinkedIn. Okay. So actually, I think if you see, there are some people I noticed on LinkedIn who do a lot of real estate posting. I think they're leveraging a platform very similar to, if not actually, kvCore. Okay. So these are just some of the things, again, reminding yourself on a regular basis what's available to me in this platform. The two most critical components as we get into rounding out your, what is the checklist? What should I be doing on a regular basis? It's all around cultivation and then on that daily call sheet, okay? So cultivation, we've talked about campaigns. Anytime that you bring a client or an SOI contact, any networking, a new agent, a co-op agent, anytime that you bring them into your kvCore, you should bring them in with the idea that you want to put them on some type of campaign. Okay, so if it's a co-op agent that you've worked with, maybe you put them on a campaign where you reach out to them once a quarter, and it can be through a text message that you set up automatically to say, hey, you're someone that I've worked with in the past. I value our relationship, thought we worked well together, and just want to stay in touch. You can customize that message, and you can set it up so that, let's say you closed with them, you co-opted a deal with them that closed last week. You can create a campaign that maybe runs for 1 year so that once a quarter, a text message goes out to that co-op, just reminding them of who you are. I can promise you that if the opportunity to work with that co-op should come up again down the road, they're going to think of you and remember that you reached out to them on some level when considering, whether you're presenting buyer offers or where they're coming to you with a buyer offer to your seller, because you have that relationship and that continued connection to leverage. It's important that you build out touches. That's what cultivation is about. That's how you stay in front of people's minds. You also have the ability to customize or go with a smart campaign. So what I just described with a co-op agent is a custom campaign. But if you're not tech savvy, if you don't want to invest that much time in kvCore, no problem. There are plenty of smart campaigns, which are pre-designed, autopilot, push the button. All you have to do is make sure, like we talked about in the beginning, the information that you're entering into your kvCore has to be valid, has to be accurate, has to be current. So as long as you're bringing those contacts in and setting them up with hashtags, those hashtags can be tied to smart campaigns, and then let kvCore do some of the ongoing touch work for you, okay? I love custom newsletters. And if you've heard me before, you've seen me talk about newsletters. This is, again, another free tool. There is a learning curve. There is a time commitment. but it doesn't cost you any money. You're not going to the printer. You're not worrying about, mailing and the quality of a postcard, or excuse me, a newsletter. To be able to print a front and back newsletter can be very expensive. And a lot of times you end up sacrificing the quality of the print job. Well, here you have a whole design center within kvCore to build out a newsletter, deliver it to your contacts electronically, and stay top of mind. And it doesn't have to be real estate related. Okay. You can create a newsletter. Maybe you're a teacher and you want to be able to create a newsletter for teachers in your network. You can, just by staying top of mind and creating content that's meaningful to that group, you can very subtly remind people that you're in the real estate business and you're there to help them sell their house or buy a house if they need you. Okay. So think outside the box, but just know that whatever time you invest in these things will come back to you in the form of relationship building. The other thing that I just wanted to show you, because I'm not sure that we've ever really talked about it in a lot of detail, these are quick wins, these three things here: property alerts, market reports, and the listing valuation. And I'm just going to hop back over to my kvCore because I want to show you how easy it is to put these items into practice. So I have myself as a test case. So if you take a look, this is what any of your sort of client Rolodex files, if you will, would look like when you pull them up in your kvCore. So on the left-hand side, you have all their contact information, what hashtags they're assigned to. In the center, you can follow their journey. You can scroll down and see all of the interaction that you've had with that particular client, whether it's text, email. You can see those actual messages all here. Then over on the right-hand side, if you scroll down to this section here, this is where you have these little additional nuggets. It will tell you any campaigns that this particular client is on, but there are three other things that I really like: property alerts, market reports, and listing valuation. Property alerts, and I'll just jump in here real quick so you can see what it looks like. A property alert is ideal for somebody who is looking, may or may not be quite committed. This, in my mind, I would love if I was talking to somebody who said, this market kind of freaks me out. Or, maybe I'm finishing school at the end of the summer. I'm graduating in August and I can't wait to get out of my parents' house fast enough, right? So I'm going to be ready to move in the fall. So maybe what you do is you put that client or that person in your sphere on a property alert and just start setting them up. Maybe they're going to be interested in a condo. So you can set them up to receive an alert based on the criteria that you enter. So the price range that you enter, the type of bed and bath, and you can determine the frequency too. So maybe once a week or once every other week, you might send property results to that person just so they start to sort of get excited. Okay. Keep their eye on the prize, keep them focused on graduation, and then get them ready to call you when the time comes to buy in the fall. Okay.
I really like this. This is such a good option.
Super easy. Super easy.
And I feel like it's more friendly use than using the MLS and putting somebody on the email campaign.
Yes, I like this a lot. And you have the ability to actually set up 2 alerts. So maybe if they were looking at, maybe they had 2 completely different sets of criteria. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you might have a client who says, if I can find a 3-bedroom townhouse, that's my ideal. But hey, I'd also be kind of interested in a 2-bedroom rancher. If it had a good amount of acreage, let's say.
I have that now.
Okay, so it happens, right? So this is great because you'll notice here in my profile that there's 2 alerts. You have the ability to set up 2 completely different alerts, and you can set up the frequency to get those messages out to them. So a great tool, very easy to set up. And again, once you set it up, I completely closed my profile, but once you set it up, it's going to be right here on the right-hand side, and it's going to go on autopilot. You don't have to go in and run it every week. It will happen automatically. Okay. Another one that I really like is market reports. That's this one here. Market reports is great, I think, for buyers and sellers. And what you can do is I can just go in there. I already added a market report for this particular, for me as my test case. And I actually think I have it set up to be able to show you what those results look like. So in this case, what you're doing is you're identifying a particular town or geographic area, and the kvCore will automatically send out a market update. You can either send it now or have it set up to send on a regular schedule, and it can go anywhere from once a week to once a month, and it'll give that recipient information about what's happening in that particular market. So let me just hop over. That's this one here, a market report. So this is what it looks like. Mind you, all I did was turn it on. And once I turned it on and I clicked send now, kvCore did all the work for me. It's giving me information about the zip code. It's giving me information about price. It's giving me information about current listings and recently sold. Okay.
That's crazy.
Again,
that's crazy.
So easy, right? If you have those people that are sort of just on the cusp of engagement, where they're just not quite ready, or you are working with them and just want to make sure that you're continuing to round out your value proposition, this is an incredible tool that takes you 10 seconds to set up, and then it's going to do all the work for you. Okay. And then the last one that I just wanted to show you is this listing valuation. So let's say in this case, you're working with someone that, again, maybe it's a town or a development rather that you work in frequently, and you have a lot of signage and presence. Maybe you do some postcard farming there, and you continue to build out a section of your database with homeowners in this particular development. As you bring them into your kvCore and set them up, you can create a listing valuation by entering in their property address, and it works through Google Maps. So once you start typing in the property, it's going to find it, and you can click save, and then you can just click update and send. Now in this case, you'll see it'll tell you the last time that you checked it. So maybe once a month, when you're going through and managing your database, putting your time into your kvCore, maybe you look up everybody in your hashtag for that development and just take a look and say, you know what, I'm going to update their property valuation and just send it out to them. Just let them know, wow, look what's happened from last month to this month. Because that's the market that we're in, right?
Yeah.
In a more central market, maybe every 6 months. But the market that we're in, that could be pretty impactful for them to be able to see month to month how that valuation changes. And this is what this message looks like. I want to show you. So here's just a property that I took in Evesham. So it's giving me, again, the estimated home value, and then it layers on all of that other market information that we just saw in the market report. Okay, so basically it's taking the market report and adding that one other relevant piece of information. How much might your home sell for right now? Okay, so this in combination with all of this other data is going to give you a starting point for those people who like to see what Zillow has to say or what Realtor.com might have to say. And instead, it's going to be you being that voice. It's going to be you setting that estimate from a person of expertise, okay, instead of a website like Zillow that we oftentimes find ourselves competing with that information, right? So again, another powerful way to easily turn on a notification and then let it do all the work. You are not searching the MLS. You are not generating reports. kvCore is doing all that work for you. Okay. So that takes me to the end of cultivation. So we looked at those sort of 3 quick hits. We talked about how important it is to be using these campaigns, right? Building out the automated touches that help to keep you top of mind. But again, I can't emphasize enough that at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything in this right-hand column, you will not see the level of success that ultimately you can and should achieve with kvCore. It requires personal attention from you. As you go through all of your setup and you have all of your leads on campaigns, you will receive daily sheets, daily call sheets from kvCore telling you who you should be calling every day. So it's giving you the work. You don't even have to go in and decide who you're going to call. kvCore, based on how you set up your hashtags and how you've done all of this information management, will tell you who you should be calling every day. There are days that you will miss. There are people, you might get a really engaged person out of that list of 5 or 10 that you were scheduled to call today. And so maybe you only get to one of those 5 or 10 calls. But the point is, you put the time in, and now you have the opportunity to build that relationship, help that client, and help them ultimately get on track with a closing that's going to lead you to getting paid. Okay. So again, the idea today that I just wanted to make sure that we covered is, okay, I did everything. I set up my kvCore. I set up my website. I've imported all these clients. I figured out how to make a newsletter. But what should I be doing every day? 30 minutes, follow this checklist. And I think it'll sort of keep you on track. It'll keep you out of the hoarder zone. It'll give you focus and help you get results. Okay? So does anybody, I know we have the 2 questions about the contacts, which I think are great. So I want to get more information with exporting phone contacts, and also not even just Zillow Premier, but I'm sure that there are other, if you have a contact list in another CRM that you want to be able to import into kvCore. I'm going to get some data on that and make sure to circle back with everyone. Are there any other questions?
Diana, I have a question, but it's not about today's training.
Okay.
It's about yesterday's training.
Okay.
The information were very new to me.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a different language when all the title and all the explaining and all. I would love to get the recording. Is it possible, please?
I know some people. So
example, maybe Chris Brown.
perhaps.
Maybe.
So yes, I can work on that.
It was so rich with information yesterday. I called Jean and I was like, I think I'm lost.
You know something? I think, and I totally appreciate, and I'm glad that you found, so much information in it. I think yesterday's conversation was an extension of the week before. If you participated with the mortgage lenders,
Yes.
I think those 2 weeks back to back really demonstrate how important it is to have good partners in the work that you're doing.
100%.
To have a good and credible mortgage lender, to have a good and credible title agent. I mean, mortgage lender, I think, is a more obvious, but a lot of times title is sort of overlooked until something goes wrong.
100%.
Right?
I enjoy working with you guys so much. Unitas is the best. The girls are amazing.
Awesome,
they
Sarah.
always come through. They're fast. They always have answers. I will never work with anybody else.
That's great. I appreciate that feedback very much. So I'll work on getting the recording. But then I think the other thing is, don't worry about having to know all those things that came out of yesterday. But I think the big thing is just knowing sort of what questions to ask and what information to gather very early. I think it probably surprised a lot of people that the recommendation yesterday was start at the listing. When you're sitting there at the listing, start asking questions, whether it's an estate, a trust, an LLC, a divorce. Those things can all create issues for you later, that if you at least start asking a couple of questions and then lean on your title professional or your attorney to help you through, you're going to end up avoiding those pitfalls that ultimately so many people who wait until the last minute sort of panic and get stuck in.
100%.
Yeah, awesome. I'll work on getting you the recording.
I was going to ask if I could get the recording too. I mean, I saw the invitation, but then I already had a commitment with Kevin yesterday, and I was like, oh, I can't be in both places at once. But I wanted to hear about that with the mortgage too.
Absolutely, no problem. I'm happy to do that. So I'll work on getting that. It takes a little bit of time to download it.
I understand.
And put it, but I think I can get it and put it on the YouTube channel. So I will circle back with both of you and make sure that you know when it's ready. The other thing that I'm going to do just before we wrap up is just if anybody is interested, I'm going to go ahead and just have to get to the chat. I'm going to go ahead and drop in a couple of things. First, I'm going to put in the kvCore checklist that I was following today. So if you have, hopefully you see that now in the chat.
Yes.
And the other thing that I just want to take a quick second to do is also give you the link to our YouTube channel. So if you do find that you need to go back and view some of the previous content, and maybe you want to learn about some of those particular like specialties, if you will, within kvCore. I'm going to stick the link for the YouTube channel there as well. In addition to the kvCore content, we also make available on the YouTube channel information about specific EXP platforms. So if you want to learn more about making it rain, if you wanted to learn more about express offers, agent attraction, those things we also cover in videos that you can find on that YouTube channel. So feel free to grab that link and just save it as a favorite. And not for nothing, but I've got bitten by the subscriber bug. So we're having a lot of fun getting some traction on that YouTube channel. So if you find something there that you like and is helpful to you, I'd be really excited if you subscribe to it. It lets me know that it's bringing value to you.
Of course.
Okay, awesome.
We really appreciate your time so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's always great to have you and to have you as a participant because you are so fully engaged, which is awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who joined today. I hope that you found something valuable here. I hope that you print out that checklist, sure, and that you make it work for you. You know, there's so much muscle here. You give a little bit of your own and then let kvCore do the rest, and you're going to see the results in your business. So good luck, everybody. Have fun with kvCore, and I promise a couple of follow-ups from our conversation today. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Great rest of the week. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.